I want to remind people of a statement that was made by the chairman of the Shanghai Gold Exchange on May 15th, 2014. And he says the Shanghai Gold Exchange will change the current gold market with its consumed in the East but priced in the West arrangement. And when China has the right to speak in the international gold market, the true price of gold will be revealed. Could Janet Yellen in Brazil, in Russia's backyard, a charter member of the BRICS recently, 3 weeks ago, say we need to not only sanction the 380 billion in Forex reserves held on behalf of the Russians, but we need to confiscate it and give that to the Ukrainian effort. Why they're doing it. And I just want people to take a step back and understand exactly what is happening here.
In today's video, Andy Schectman discusses the growing demand for gold, particularly driven by China's influence. He highlights a statement from the Shanghai Gold Exchange indicating China's potential to influence the true price of gold in the global market. Schectman criticizes U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's proposed sanctions on Chinese entities allegedly aiding Russia, pointing out hypocrisy in U.S. foreign policy. He questions the rationality of such actions and suggests they may reach a point of absurdity. So, please pay close attention until the end, as Andy has some crucial information to share with you.
So just along the lines of everything that I've been saying on your show for the last 4 years, going on, 3+ years, and I just following this narrative, I have a lot to talk about, but I'm just going to limit it to two things. One, I want people to think about the gold demand that we have been seeing and the central bank appetite for it. And I want to remind people of a statement that was made by the chairman of the Shanghai Gold Exchange on May 15th, 2014. And he says the Shanghai Gold Exchange will change the current gold market with its consumed in the East but priced in the West arrangement. And when China has the right to speak in the international gold market, the true price of gold will be revealed. I believe we are on our way to that. I do believe truly that a lot of these countries are selling U.S. treasuries and buying gold in replacement and looking at it as an asset that has performed better and has no counterparty risk, no default risk, no sanctioning risk. And that's the big one, right? And I've talked a lot about it being too stupid to be stupid, and how could Janet Yellen in Brazil, in Russia's backyard, a charter member of the BRICS recently, 3 weeks ago, say we need to not only sanction the 380 billion in Forex reserves held on behalf of the Russians, but we need to confiscate it and give that to the Ukrainian effort. And I mean, you can't talk about being more stupid until what she just did. And this is from the too stupid to be stupid and couldn't it be planned category. This is right out of an interview that she gave with CNBC. And it says the U.S. is ready to sanction the Chinese banks if they aid the Russian war machine, Yellen says. The United States is prepared to sanction Chinese banks and companies as well as Beijing's leadership if they aid Russian military in its invasion of the Ukraine, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said. So, it's okay for us to aid the Ukrainians, but it's not okay for China to aid their ally, their BRICS member, Russia. And it says the United States is prepared to sanction Chinese banks as companies as well as Beijing's leadership if they assist Russian armed forces. We stand ready to act if we see significant violations, especially by financial institutions. Anything that involves aiding Russia's military in their brutal war against Ukraine is unacceptable to us, and we have the ability to sanction it. And I think the craziest part is she says China is entitled to have a relationship with Russia. She said, but, the trade between the two countries, which the U.S. sees as non-problematic, but the provision of military aid from Beijing to Moscow could trigger sanctions. Well, thank you, Janet. It's nice that you don't see it as problematic and that we're entitled. Do you see the hypocrisy in all of this? First, she says it's okay that Brazil, that we need to confiscate Russian Forex reserves. And now she is going as far as saying, well, we can do this with Ukraine no matter what the world opinion is. But if you try to do it with your ally, well, we're going to sanction you. And that would be sanctions then on Russia, Iran, and China. And I mean, at what point does this just become ridiculous already? And when you talk about incentivizing these countries to dump bonds in favor of gold, this is just part and parcel exactly why they're doing it. And I just want people to take a step back and understand exactly what is happening here, that we are going around the globe and doing things entirely hypocritically and incentivizing all of these countries to dump dollars and to accumulate gold in replacement of the treasuries, which have no sanction risk, which have no counterparty liability, which have no default risk. And when you go around saying you can do this, but you can't, repetitively over and over and over again, and are now doing it with, 2/3 of the original five, or 3 of the original 5 members of BRICS. I should take that back. Iran's not one of the original members, but they're in there now. But to do it with Russia and to threaten to do it with China and to do it with Iran, it's just stupidity. And I just want people to know that the end of stupidity is it just keeps on going. And what Janet is doing by doing this is only accelerating the demise of the petrodollar. And that, to me, is the most important thing. We can skip all the other things that I wanted to talk about. We're already at an hour. We can save that for next week. But put that one in your pipe and smoke it, because I don't know of anything that we could do, including weaponizing the dollar, but going around, by signing executive order to go green and then weaponizing the dollar to this degree and speak of confiscating Russian assets, you couldn't draw it up any better to accelerate the demise of the Western system. And yet they continue to do this. So it's just beyond me how stupid it is. Of course. And why would anyone? I mean, put yourself in their shoes. Well, they have the right to say that we can't do it, yet they're doing it. And the truth of the matter is, you could argue that China and Russia are more real allies in many respects than the United States and Ukraine is. I mean, Ukraine seems like a puppet of the United States. And I think that Russia and China actually are allies in a much larger meaning of the word, much larger scope. They have a vision of unity and cooperation, whereas it just seems, if you're really being honest, that the Ukraine is a puppet of the West and of NATO, and it's wrong. And it's this type of hypocrisy, the same stuff we did in Iraq. It's only going to accelerate the demise of the world reserve status. And people don't understand. I think I use that phrase, little by little by little, then all at once. And the little by little takes so long, people dismiss it and they look past it. And they think it's a nothing burger because it takes so long. Yet I look at it and I can't believe, because the media doesn't just do a poor job. They do no job of telling us what the little by little is, like this. But when the all at once happens, I think people will be shocked by how fast the all at once really happens. And that all at once would be all of these countries who have been continually bullied and backed into a corner say we're done taking the dollars and treasuries for our commodities, because not only because you're going green, but because of this, because you can say that it's okay for you to do this to the Ukraine or help the Ukraine, but we can't help our own allies. And if we do, people that we're united with and in a very large group with, but if we do, then we're sanctioned and we have our assets confiscated, we're done. And I think anyone in the other side would see this as being completely and totally legitimate and completely and totally logical and justified. And it's as if we can do all of these things with no consequences. And that's why I love Bill Holter's comment. Is it too stupid to be stupid, or is it planned? And it just seems to me like this is just from the too stupid to be stupid category. First Russia, first Iran, then Russia, and now China. Who's next? India, Brazil? I mean, I guess we'll find out.
Thanks for watching. If you found this discussion insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Stay tuned for future updates on gold market dynamics and geopolitical analysis. See you in the next video.